Hi, my name is Yael Tamar, and I'm a co-founder at Vidoko. I'm going to share with you some of the wisdom of Winnie the Pooh, as described in the book, The Tao of Pooh, and how it can help entrepreneurs. How many of you have read the book, Winnie the Pooh? How many of you have seen the Disney version? If you've only done the latter, you may not benefit from the wisdom of the book because the cartoon doesn't follow it fully, but if you speak Russian like me, you may be able to watch the Russian cartoon. So who's this famous bear, and why have streets in Eastern Europe been named after the bear? Well, the author of The Tao of Pooh, Benjamin Hoff, tends to think that that's because the book is a secret instruction on Taoism, and that the characters in the book really help explain the tenets of the philosophy. So we have the fretful donkey, the hesitant pig, and clever rabbit, and wise owl, and Pooh cannot be defined because Pooh just is. And that basically is the whole idea behind Taoism. Now, before you run out and get the infamous Taoist symbol tattooed on one of your body parts, let's learn a little bit about what Taoism really is. And if we had to explain Taoism in just one concept, that would be being. Just being. Wait a second. Isn't that against what entrepreneurs do? The entrepreneurs, the doers, the inventors, the technologists? Well, it turns out, not so quickly. According to a great philosopher, Piglet, Pooh does silly things which turn out all right. Now, they're silly because nobody understands them, not even Pooh. And why? Because Pooh relies on what's called his inner nature. And that actually, according to the book, is because Pooh is an animal, a bear, of a very little brain. Now, we as human beings are proud of the fact that we have one of the largest brains in the animal kingdom, but it seems to work against us. It seems that a lot of times it inhibits us from listening to our inner nature, to our intuition. And we actually have to learn the instinct. So one of my favorite books on the subject is called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and it teaches you through a scientific method of how to listen to your inner nature. So I highly recommend the book. So assuming we all learn how to listen to our inner nature, how do we actually get things done? Now in Taoism, there is a concept called Wu Wei, which means do without doing. And what it basically says is don't try to fit round pegs into the square hole and the square pegs into the round hole. Now, isn't that also against the entrepreneurial ethic? I mean, aren't you supposed to find solutions? Well, it turns out that your egotistical desire makes you want to fit those things where they don't belong. Cleverness makes you want to find new ways of doing things and fitting them where they don't belong. And knowledge makes you sit there and think, why don't round pegs fit in square holes, and vice versa? Well, instead of that, the people who adhere to Wu Wei, they do. They just do, without thinking, without doing, and they are the ones who get things done. Instead of finding a problem where it doesn't exist, you do. Who is a busy Baxon? Well, nobody in the forest knew, and it caused quite a stir when Christopher Robin left that note to Pooh. Now, let me illustrate who a busy Baxon is through a Taoist parable. There was a man who was afraid of his own shadow and his footprints. So he started running. He ran so fast, but his shadow was still behind him, and his footprints multiplied. Now, what would have happened if he would have stayed still in the shade? His shadow would have disappeared, and his footprints would be just there, not multiplying. Now, if you just sit down and think, sometimes you get much more ideas and become much more productive. Now, many of us in our society, in the workplace, are required to be busy Baxons. So my favorite book on the subject is The 4-Hour Work Week, which teaches you how to spend time wisely because it's known that you cannot make time. So in summary, the book teaches you to listen to your inner nature, to not fight against the stream, and to not be a busy Baxon. Now, action items for entrepreneurs and for all of you would be to cultivate your inner quiet through meditation, hobbies, anything. Because you know good ideas come to you in the shower and not in front of the computer. Live in the moment, go with the flow, And remember, you can't save time, you can only spend it. Thank you very much.